Some gender-affirming hysterectomies will also include the removal of the ovaries, but that's technically a separate procedure called a bilateral oophorectomy. And not every gender-affirming hysterectomy includes that, and people who are getting gender-affirming hysterectomies do not have to have their ovaries removed.
It's just pure evil. Just evil. Hey, what's up, everyone? Jasper Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next, your daily dose. Happy Friday. Hope you guys are doing good today. Well, gender affirming care. Sounds nice, right? You know, caring and heartfelt and lovely. Translation: child mutilation. You have one hospital who touts off as being the great I am in regards to this. Of course, they got exposed for what they truly are by the libs of TikTok. We're going to give you a little background history on this hospital and what they're doing, and also what one representative is doing about it. Let's take a look. This comes out of the Daily Wire. Boston Children's Hospital touts gender-affirming hysterectomies. Boston Children's Hospital, BCH, ranked the #1 children's hospital in the United States, touted gender-affirming hysterectomies, quote-unquote, in a video, even though the patients it sees are young adults up to the age of 21. According to the hospital's website, BCH offers comprehensive medical care for children from birth through the age of 21, and that includes a certain, quote-unquote, gender-affirming care for trans use as well, or confused kids. Quote, the Center for Gender Surgery at Boston Hospital offers gender affirmation surgery services to eligible adolescents and young adults who are ready to take this next step in their journey. The hospital's website reads, it is the first center of its kind in the U.S. in a major pediatric hospital setting. That's scary. Pediatric gynecologist Francis Grimstad, MD, of course that's very questionable at this point, who specializes in transgender reproductive health. Yeah, there's no oxymoron there. At Boston General Hospital, explained Boston's Children's Hospital, explained in a video what gender-affirming hysterectomy entails.
Gender-affirming hysterectomy is very similar to most hysterectomies that occur. A hysterectomy itself is the removal of the uterus, the cervix, which is the opening of the uterus, and the fallopian tubes, which are attached to the sides of the uterus. Some gender-affirming hysterectomies will also include the removal of the ovaries, but that's technically a separate procedure called a bilateral oophorectomy. And not every gender-affirming hysterectomy includes that, and people who are getting gender-affirming hysterectomies do not have to have their ovaries removed.
And notice how happy she was to tell you about it. Wow. Hysterectomies, whether for gender-affirming reasons or not, are not reversible. They're not reversible. Once it's done, and will render the patient permanently unable to bear children. Quote, a world-renowned pediatric facility proudly taking into the removal of uteruses of healthy young girls in the name of, quote, gender-affirming care is terrifying. Erica Sanzi, director of the outreach of nonprofit Parents Defending Education, told the National Desk. According to the BCH website, children as young as 15 can go under in a knife or breast augmentations or double mastectomies in the name of gender affirmation with parental consent. At 17, a quote-unquote trans woman can receive a vaginoplasty, and at 18, a trans man can receive a medioloplasty or phalloplasty. Probably butcher the words anyway. It's unclear if the hospital offers the gender-affirming hysterectomies its doctors described, but the website describes offering other gender-affirming surgeries beyond those listed to eligible patients. Gender-affirming care is newspeak for permanently altering the bodies of kids and adults through drugs and therapy. Delano Squires responded to a BCH video, child mutilation. If you watch the video with no sound, you assume this lady was talking about her love for classic literature. I'll take a bulldog over a winsome butcher any day. I'm going to jump from that to this. This comes out of the post-millennial. Exclusive. Marjorie Taylor Greene drops bombshell on legislation to ban medical gender transitions of minors across the United States. Yes, not every state can have someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Ron DeSantis in Florida. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is taking aim at a trans craze sweeping the nation with a new bill that seeks to criminalize the medicalized gender transition of minors. The Protect Children's Innocent Act would outright ban and prohibit all so-called, quote, gender affirmation care, child mutilation for minors in the U.S. and offer civil protections to any minor upon these procedures were done. Greene provided legislative exclusivity to the Post-Millennial. The bill is co-sponsored by Mary Miller, Jeff Duncan, Bob Good, Matt Gaetz, Ralph Norman, and Tony Gonzalez out of Texas. And those in the GOP who do not back the bill, who acquiesce to the medical gender transition of minors, Greene says they are worthless. In June, some GOP lawmakers broached the Protecting Minors from Medical Malpractice Act so that minors could sue doctors that harmed them through gender affirmation care. Now, a couple of those names I just mentioned signed off on the codification of gay marriage. So, yeah, you may want to look those names up. This was her describing the bill on Tucker Carlson.
No one in the Congress seems to be asking that. No one did until Marjorie Taylor Greene decided this is worth legislating. She represents Georgia in the U.S. Congress. She joins us with an announcement about new legislation pending. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. So what do you plan to do about this?
Well, I find this absolutely appalling, Tucker. And, you know, the whole reason why I ran for Congress in the first place is because I'm one of the Americans that are sick and tired of our government allowing the abuse of the American people. But when it comes to gender affirming care, which is really child abuse, this is actually an assault and it's child abuse. And this practice should never happen. It's so disgusting and appalling, and it's an embarrassment to our country.
Absolutely.
You see, I'm one of those that believes the Republican Party is only worth being a true party, worth deserving of the people's votes if we are willing to stand up and stop horrific things like child abuse and like so-called gender affirming care, which is really genital mutilation. It's puberty blockers that cause chemical castration, teenage girls actually having their breasts chopped off, teenage boys being castrated. This needs to be illegal, and I'm introducing a bill called Protect Children's Innocence Act, and it would create a law that would cause it to be a Class C felony for any person involved in so-called gender-affirming care. That means genital mutilation surgery, that means hormones, that means puberty blockers, anything involving any youth under the age of 18, because these kids are too young to make these awful decisions that will affect them and will be permanent for the rest of their lives.
Amen. Amen. This bill will make pharmaceutical gender affirmation of minors a Class C felony, punishable up to 25 years in prison, $250,000 fine, and stop any taxpayer-funded insurance plans from paying for this kind of treatment. The law would bar any school from providing instruction on these practices. That which characterizes what is known to gender affirmation care, let's just call it child abuse, child mutilation, let's just call it what it is. Includes dozens of procedures as well as application of drugs. That would be, of course, puberty blockers would be prohibited under the bill. That the procedures and drugs are laid bare, shows the scope of what kind of butchery is considered justifiable under the cause of trans care. In the event that these are done under healthy minors for the purpose of gender affirmation or to quote-unquote cure gender dysphoria, which is a mental illness. Cross-sex hormones and puberty blockers are also prohibited for the purpose of gender affirmation or curing gender dysphoria. Flat out, this is just pure evil. This is just pure evil. Boston Children's Hospital is not the only one. I read that there is a hospital in Oregon, it's no surprise, that is touting off and doing similar work. For any person that has an MD next to their name who works at this hospital, do no harm. It's what a doctor does. When you take the Hippocratic Oath, you do no harm, but yet You got doctors who perform abortions. You got doctors who perform this kind of mutilation to minors. As Congresswoman Green has said, chopping off of breasts, castrations of boys. This is just evil, flat out fucking evil. And for anyone to say that this is a good thing, you're an asshole. You're just a flat out asshole. And this shit needs to be stopped. I'm glad that Marjorie Taylor Greene is coming up with a bill for it, but then again, it has to be done on a local level. Parents in Boston, you guys have got to step up to this hospital. You guys have got to step up to the city council and say, this shit has to stop. From what I hear, of course, Libs of TikTok has been accused of domestic terrorism because of this, because of exposing trash like this. They have gotten threatened. Boston Children's Hospital is saying that they are being threatened as well, because of, they have no idea why. We're just helping the children. Don't you understand? When you have a girl who wants to be a boy, what's the harm? Or Jonny who wants to be Jane, what's the harm? We're doing it for the children. It's pretty much the byline. We're doing it for the children. No, you guys are evil sons of bitches. That's what you are. And I pray, and I really pray, that parents at the local level step up to hospitals like Boston Children's Hospital, which is a world-renowned hospital that has helped children for decades. But they are destroying themselves by doing shit like this. And not just in Boston. In Oregon and other hospitals who decide to take this step and to do this trash that is literally destroying our children. Instead of getting them the psychological help that they need, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with a mental illness, not what's between your legs. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.